Like, oh my god, this wasn't even a slow burn. It was just slow. Just close out your sentence. Whatever you're typing up, go ahead and wrap it up, boo, because I don't give a shit. It's actually making you insufferable and nobody don't want to be around your ass. Even your grandmammy is telling you to shut the fuck up. And this is what you're giving us, this little pamphlet. Nobody mess with him, he's so scary. But then this little 5'2" hoe that is wearing rags can come up to him and talk crazy. I beg your pardon? Baby, don't nobody give a shit. Don't nobody care. But wasn't she just saying she icky? I don't want to touch that. Wasn't she just saying that? So why now all of a sudden she jumping on somebody's shoulders and twisting their neck? Pick what you're doing. Being an author is not easy. But at the end of the day, that was the worst book I ever damn read. Okay. Hello, booktubing world. It is I, Capri Nicole, and I am back with another video. So I was waiting to do this video just because I wanted to make sure I had all the books ready that was gonna get this heat. Okay, if you're new here, please don't expect this video to be 20 minutes long. If I'm angry about something, you're gonna hear my mouth, and that includes books. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about the worst books that I read in 2024. And honestly, 2024 was like, it was like a straight reading year for me, but honestly I feel like it was one of my worst reading years because I stupidly decided that I was only going to read fantasy last year. It's 2025 now. So I stupidly decided that I was only going to be reading fantasy books, and I don't even know why I thought that was a good idea. Like, I was good probably up until July. I think July was when I kind of started crashing out. I just kept having reading slumps. I wanted to read some romance, and then I was like, no, but you gotta stick to your goal. And it's just like, what is the point of the goal, sister? Like, what was the point of you even doing this? So yeah, it was just like a really iffy reading year for me. I ended up closing up the year reading 65 books. I probably ended up reading like 3 books that weren't fantasy because in the end I was just like, I really just don't care anymore. Yeah, within the year that just passed, the fantasy books that I read, there were some books that I genuinely just didn't like and I have gripes with, which is what I'll talk about in this video. But then there's one specific book that I hated with everything in my being, and it's the worst book I've ever read in my life. It's the worst book I've ever read. Like, I won't even say the material is the worst. I would just say, like, concluding a series like this was making it the worst book I've ever read. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So I have 9 books on here. Some of these books, baby, they're not even physically on my shelf. I think I have, what, 4 of them here. The rest of them, they're already gone because we get them in and out around here. I'm constantly unhauling books because the only books I want on my shelves are books that I want to read or books that I enjoyed, like, or books that I could see myself recommending other people. Other than that, you don't have no space in this home. Okay, so let's get into it. I think I'm gonna start with the books that I don't physically own, just so editing me will be, you know, appreciative, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start with A Taste of Golden Iron, just because I didn't hate this book, but it just was really boring. The girls loved this book. Like, the girls live, laugh, love this book, and I think the giddiness of me being in on something and me being excited to read something made me enjoy the first half of the book, because I was just like, ooh, I can finally read the book that everyone's been talking about. Like a piece of lint right here that everyone's been talking about. Like, I'm gonna be part with the girls, like I'm gonna be excited to talk about. Baby, no. Like, oh my god, this wasn't even a slow burn. It was just slow. There was no fire, there was no desire, there was no burn. Like, it was none of that. Like, this was the most boring fucking book. And I don't even feel like I need to get a synopsis for all these books. Some of them I will, some of them I won't. I really don't give a shit to. You know, if you want to know what the books are about, then go look it up. Okay? And I didn't even say my disclaimer, non-disclaimer. If any of the books that I talk about you really enjoyed and it's one of your favorite books, please don't be coming in my comments griping about how I misunderstood the book or how I need to reread the book or how you don't understand, well, this is why they did this. Guess what? You can type your whole paragraph. You can type your whole paragraph and it won't change my reading experience. I still hated the fucking book. So it really just close out your sentence. Whatever you're typing up, go ahead and wrap it up, boo, because I don't give a shit. Like, you can tell me a whole thing, and what do you think I'm gonna say? Oh, I see the light now. I understand why the book is so great. No, I still hated the book when I read it, and I still hate it now, and it's gonna get these flames. So it is what it be. That's my disclaimer, non-disclaimer. Don't come in my comments telling me you love the book and some people just don't get it. I guess I just don't fucking get it then. Oh fucking well. And it is what it be. I'm not here. And if you're an author watching this, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're an author and you see your book on my video and you watching my video, I don't give a fuck either. Don't get in my comment section telling me a whole bunch of shit. What you want to do? Fight about it? Like, it's plenty of people that probably did enjoy your book, but I ain't one of them. So you're not gonna deter me. I spent my money to read your book, and now I don't like it. So now you're gonna hear my mouth. So it is what it be. Like, I'm not apologizing for that. I don't really give a fuck. So anyway, reading is subjective. Let's continue on with A Taste of Golden Iron. So basically, this book was just a snooze fest. It's following a prince who be having panic attacks at the blink of an eye, and his bodyguard. And at first, like I said, I was excited to be a part of something that everyone was, you know, it's fun to be a part of the group. Like, when something's really popular and you genuinely enjoy it too, it's fun to be excited about something and be a part of, like, a fan base. And I don't feel like this book had a fan base, but I did see a lot of the girls love this book, and a lot of creators that I really respect love this book. So I was like, baby, this is gonna eat. Like, this is just gonna eat. But it did not eat. Like, I was very hungry after my meal, because what the hell was this? Like, it's essentially following this prince be having panic attacks, and he's like the black sheep of his family and his bodyguard. So that's basically what this book is. It's just like their slow romance. There's also hints of magic in a way, because the prince has the ability to, like, understand and detect currency, like gold and iron and pennies and nickels and all this shit, better than anybody else. So it's like magic system based in currency. So that's basically it. Honestly, I don't know why this book was so long. Like, I think that I enjoy slow burns, but if it's a slow burn, I need the book to be under 300 pages. Like, even with, like, shows and stuff like that, I hate just seeing people, like, when you first meet somebody and you have a crush on them, obviously you're nervous around them, you're scared to talk. But if y'all work around each other every day, or y'all are friends or whatever, the stuttering and stammering shit, it gotta stop at some point. I do understand the stuttering and stammering between these two, or the stoic state of the other main character, because he genuinely just was a stoic person, and there is a hierarchy at play. He's his bodyguard and he's a prince, and he respects his placement, and he respects, like, what his job is. So it's like, he's not gonna be like telling him, pinning him against the wall and saying, you so fine. I understand that, but I don't give a fuck. The book was boring. It was just like, it was so grating, because I just was like, the things that were happening behind the scene, the entire plot was so predictable of, like, who the bad guy was. I just was so sick of this book, and I was tired of reading about just, like, I understand stoic main characters. I understand people who have a difficult time with words, or people that are not outspoken. I completely understand that. But it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I'm not going to read 600 pages to someone that has a hard time speaking up. Like, or if I read a book that has a main character that has a hard time expressing themselves, or is usually a really quiet person, I like seeing them do small acts of service, like doing things for the other person without saying anything, so their presence is still there. But if you're just like, I can't remember what his thing was that he kept saying. I think it was like, your majesty or your highness, or he just would say sir or sir, and we're just supposed to, like, I can't remember what the thing was that he would say. It was either like your majesty, or he would just say sir. Like, it was just like one line that he would say for everything, and it's like, we just needed to know what he meant in that. And at first I was just like, it was kind of funny, because it was like he would say something and I would know what he was trying to say. But then it got to a point where I'm like, you gotta, hey, speak wake up, bro. Cat got your tongue. Like, what is the problem? And it's just like, in the beginning, I just was like, okay, this is cute, whatever, blah, blah. But then it got to a point where I was just like, okay, everything's predictable. We're doing the same things over and over and over again, and this man don't want to talk. So I was just over the whole miming it out like he was a little mime. He didn't want to say anything. And it was boring. It was boring, bro. Like, it really was boring, and I was pissed because I really wanted this book on my shelves. But I'm glad that I borrowed this book from my library, because if I had this book physically and I was reading it, it would have took me the whole year to read it, because it was just so damn boring. Okay, so that's the first one. Let me get some water, child. I'm already parched. Next book that I have is Half a Soul. I don't remember if I wrote a review for this, but if I did, feel free to go on my Goodreads and check. If I didn't, hey, it is what it be. So basically, this is following a girl who had like a kiss of death, essentially, because this fairy came from a different world and he had beef with her mama, and he was on some like, I'm gonna take the revenge out on your daughter. So he tried to snatch her ass up, but her cousin saved her, and it ended up making her being split in a way between two worlds, where she kind of lost her personality. She lost who she was, and she also had like the ability to like feel magical things around her or whatever, or connection with the Fae world, whatever, child. So honestly, that whole plot was really interesting to me. The beginning ate. I loved the relationship between her and her cousin, but I just think I was having a good time, but it was just like small things that I needed change. And I think I also was really bored. I feel like the romance was fine, but they didn't have enough moments together, and I didn't care about the plot. I think my biggest issue was like the plot. I don't want to say what the plot is, but baby, I just didn't care. Like, I understand it's bad to say because it involves like children. It's not anything like, you know, sinister, but I just didn't care. Like, the whole plot of it all, I just didn't care, because I didn't know it was gonna be like a subplot to like what she had going on. I thought it was just going to be following her, you know, finding herself, being comfortable with like her not really, she kind of was like really weird. She had like, I think she had like different color eyes. She didn't have a really personality. She was very blunt. Like, she just said how she felt. Like, she didn't have that, you know, barrier, filter, if you will, that other people usually have. And she also just didn't fit in. I think her family was like, her family was either well respected or trying to be well respected, and she just didn't fit into their whole little cookie cutter picture perfect moment, child. And I don't know, I feel like I wish there was more magic. I liked both of the characters, but I don't think I liked them together, or what was shown of me, showing what they showed me of them together. Like, I think I liked both of them separately. They both had really interesting stories, and like the Fae world was what was really interesting, and I wanted to see more of that because it felt so dark. This book definitely had Fae that were sinister and had like rules that would like screw you over, like one of those like basically the regular version of like what Fae are supposed to be, where they like trick you and they make you do things based off of rules that you think is going to benefit you and it only benefits them. Like, I just loved the system of the Fae, but it was just it felt repetitive. I didn't care about the plot. It was a little bit boring, and I just, it's not much I can say on this one. And I honestly was wondering, like, do I just not like historical romance? Like, is that just my thing? Like, I don't like historical romance? Because sometimes I enjoy it because it's just like, will they, won't they? You know, we're living in different times. You can't be putting your tongue down somebody's throat in the middle of the street. So they have different ways of showing their love. So I do enjoy that. Like Beverly Jenkins books that I've read, which is historical romance, I love those books. But then I've read other historical romance books and I'm like, do I have a problem with historical romance? Or like, what is the issue? Is the issue me? Like, is the issue me? But then I remember I read like 6 Beverly Jenkins books back to back to back, and I loved all of them. So I'm like, it's not me that's the issue. Am I the problem? I'm not the problem. Like, I don't know. I just don't like the way this book was set up. And again, I didn't care about the plot. So there's that. It's not too much hate on this one. So you know what I'm saying, if they changed like a few little things, it could have been like a 3-star, but really it was like a 2 because I was bored and I was over it. Okay, the next book that I have is Honey Witch, and I was so excited for this book because I love books that tie nature into the magic system. So just knowing that she was like connected to the nature and the little animals and stuff, like very much Snow White-esque, anything that's like heavy in like flowers and the grass and the whatever, I eat it up every time. So I was excited for this. I love the cover and the premise of this book because it was like a main character that wasn't focused on marriage. She was focused on like just following her family lineage and understanding and establishing the magic system of like being a witch essentially. But the main character, it was the problem. Like she, like I said, she didn't want to get married, and she made that so known. Like honestly, at first it really didn't bother me because I'm like, she's standing on business, she's standing up for herself, she's saying what she wants and what she don't want. And in the beginning, some of these quotes ate. I was like, oh, these quotes is hitting. Like the first 20 pages I highlighted so much stuff because she was really having some one-liners, and I was like, okay girl, like she was really standing on business. But she just started getting insufferable. Like, girl, just because you want to die an old hag bitter with no man don't mean you gotta bash everybody just because you don't want to get married, you don't want to whatever. It's like, to each his own. Like whatever you want to do what makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting other people, it don't fucking matter. But this girl was like scoffing and acting like she just was so much holier than thou just because she ain't want no man. It's like, girl, don't nobody care. Nobody cares. Like no one gives a shit. But she was so insufferable, and I feel like the author knew she felt insufferable because her grandmother, who was like training her as like her apprentice or whatever, teaching her the ways of a honey witch, whatever, she was telling her like, girl, like, are you okay? Like she just kept saying just crazy things about people that wanted to fall in love, or people that were courting each other, or coming to her grandmother for brews just so that they can catch someone's interest or whatever. She was really popping her shit about all of them, but she was doing it in a way where it was like she thought she was better than everybody just because she ain't want no man. It's like, girl, who said that makes you better? Like, that's like, who the hell says that make you better? It's actually making you insufferable, and nobody don't want to be around your ass. Even your grandmammy is telling you to shut the fuck up. So it's like, if she is your lineage and your blood and she telling you, girl, shut up, like, don't nobody want to hear that shit. How you think we feel reading it? So I don't know, I just feel like the author knew she was insufferable, and maybe she was supposed to be like that, but I didn't care. I was tired of reading her point of view because she was just so out of touch with just the fact that maybe other people have other goals, other interests, other things aside from your beliefs. Like the same way you don't have the same belief system of other people as far as falling in love and whatever, maybe they just don't have the same beliefs as you. Like, why do you have to make them feel bad about wanting to have a boyfriend? Girl, okay? And then like the love interest, I didn't care. Like, it was sapphic, but I don't know, I just didn't give a shit. Like, the main character just made this book so terrible. Like, it just took away from like the magic, because I feel like if she was less annoying then maybe the book would have been a little bit more magical. But it's like, you talked all that shit and then you still fall in love with somebody. Like, all that shit you was popping, and you was quick to pop the coochie open for the first girl and that batted her eyes at you. Like, girl, hang it up. Like, you was saying how much love is a waste of time and da-da-da-da, but you sure was popping it on page. Definitely was popping it on page. Like, there was some, well, I will say there was some pretty good scenes on here between those two, but overall I just didn't care, just because the main character was annoying as shit. So yeah. Next one I have is Piranesi. I feel like this is not even a bad book. I just don't understand what happened. Like, I was like reading this book and I was trying because this is one of them books where it's like, you don't know what the hell is going on the entire book, and then the ending is supposed to be like this great big reveal. And I kind of feel like I understand what the reveal was, but then I also was confused because I'm like, like, I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is a very interesting plot twist. But then I was like, wait, is this the plot twist? Like, it was like two possibilities. And I'm like, am I just stupid? Like, am I just like not understanding like what this book is supposed to be about? Like, I just feel like it's one of them books that's supposed to be like a classic, and like all the smart girlies and intellectuals that study literature and all this shit, they know what's going on, but I'm just sitting in the corner with a dunce hat on because I don't know what the fuck is happening. Like, it was this book, when I got to the end, I was so excited to read this book because I love books that confuse you, and then in the end it's like this big reveal. I love books like that, like Monday's Not Coming, Allegedly, Behind Her Eyes, all of those books like that where it's like you don't know what the hell's happening until the end, like literally the last like 10 pages or something like that. But this book was so like back and forth, and it wasn't like those books, because in the end those books thoroughly explained what was happening and there was no room for confusion. There was no room for confusion. But this book, there was plenty of room for confusion for this book, because I didn't understand what the fuck was even going on, and I think I know what happened, but I still don't fully know. So this book is on my worst list just because of my confusion. Like, maybe it's an amazing book that I just don't get. Maybe that's it. But I even was like looking up think pieces on Reddit because I'm like, what the fuck? And then I feel like this, you know what? I feel like this book is exactly like the movie Shutter Island. Exactly like that. I love Shutter Island because I love me some Leonardo DiCaprio now. But this is exactly like Shutter Island, where the end happens, but it's like 2 or 3 possibilities, and you have to decide what you think the outcome is. Only, I don't feel like that's what was supposed to happen. Like, I feel like in the end of this book, you were supposed to know one hard answer, but it felt like the Shutter Island movie where it's 2 possibilities. If that makes sense. Like, that's the only way I can sum it up. It felt like it was an open ending, but I don't think it was supposed to be. Like, maybe I'm just stupid. Let me know in the comment section below if I'm dumb. Like, if you feel comfortable spoiling, put it in the... Hey, if you read Piranesi and you can explain it to me, please feel free to DM me or put like spoilers below and just explain it to me, because I think I understand, but I don't fully, and I don't like the way they wrote it. I don't like the way they was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, confusion. Baby, my head don't even feel like it's in a dryer by the end of this book. Like, I fear, I just, what, like, it, yeah. So if you feel comfortable explaining to me, feel free to DM me or leave in the comment section below, because baby, this book was, it was just too confusing for me. Too confusing. I didn't like the way the pacing was. I didn't like the way that they put everything together. I ain't like that. So yeah, A Dawn of Onyx. This book ain't even on my shelf. Like I said, none of these are, but A Dawn of Onyx is on my worst list only because honestly, she's gonna catch a stray for all of the books. I'm gonna use her as an example for all of the books that I'm sick of. Okay, I'm so sick of all of these fantasy romance books that have the exact replica of the same man. Like, he's so tan, he has dark hair, he has shadow magic. It's the same shit. Hold on. It's the same shit every time, regurgitated over and over and over and over again. Like, the girls gotta come harder. Like, y'all not even bringing different magical abilities. I'm so sick of the female main character that is seen as like weak and small and meek or whatever, but she low-key is like amazing and really cool at what she do. Like, I don't care. I'm so sick of like the beat down, battered main character that's like super tiny and she has these magical abilities that are super big, and then her love interest is a super big man with dark hair and shadow magic and aftershave. Please, all of them look exactly alike. Y'all not even changing the eye color. I'm so sick of all of the fantasy romance books right now. You know how many different possibilities you can write? You're an author. Do you know how many possibilities or magic systems or magical whatevers that you could come up with, and y'all keep doing the same shit? Like, you can come up with anything and y'all keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. Dawn of Onyx, it was just crazy. And I'm also sick of these female main characters talking to these men crazy. Like, don't come at me with the pitchforks. I'm not talking about misogyny. I'm just talking like, You're telling me that this dude is so powerful, he don't take nobody's shit, but some rando that look like Orphan Annie can talk to him crazy and he don't say shit? You mean to tell me that she can come because she got healing magical abilities and she kind of cute and talk to him crazy, get all up in his face, and he don't do shit? He think it's funny and funny and cute. I don't like that, because it's like, how you expect me to believe that this man is all so controlling and so nobody mess with him, he's so scary, but then this little 5'2" hoe that is wearing rags can come up to him and talk crazy? I beg your pardon? Like, what? Every book that is coming out in a specific I'm not gonna touch on that, but I will say damn near every fantasy romance book that's coming out by specific people, it's all the same shit. The girl got a fire mouth, she got so much to say, she got red hair, or she got blonde hair with a brown hair, whatever, she got mousy features, she's very small and dainty, but she's a firehouse. Baby, don't nobody give a shit. Don't nobody care. Like, don't nobody care. I was so, and they make these books so long, and maybe if they were shorter I wouldn't be as aggravated, but you expect me to sit through, like, I don't even remember how long Dawn of Onyx was, because I read the first half physically and then the second half I listened to an audiobook. I was flying through that book physically. I will say it was very easy to read, and it was very easy to read because it felt like it was like a middle school book. Yeah, so I don't know, I just know it was long as hell, and it's just like, sometimes y'all really be prolonging shit. Y'all make the scene super long, the dialogue super long. All of these books do not need to be so big. I know there's a lot of new authors out there, and maybe I know y'all are new here, but fantasy books, when they're long, it's for politics or the plot, not for all of these long ass scenes of people staring at each other. Please, like, I don't want to read 4 pages about how big his hands are and how tiny she is. I don't give a fuck. Like, I couldn't give less of a shit. I really couldn't. Like, please, like, fantasy books are long usually because of the history, the politics, and the plot. Everything else that y'all are doing, all these crazy long ass scenes where people are just going back and forth, frolicking through the water, having a moment, like, you mean to tell me they in the middle of a war or in the middle of, like, people is like in danger, but y'all have time to frolic off into a waterfall scene and be bathing together? What? Like, don't piss me off, please. I beg of you, don't piss me off. And Dawn of Onyx is catching a stray specifically because of that, because she is the perfect example of all of these fucking fantasy books that are exactly the same. Y'all gotta do something. Y'all need to, if he gonna be a shapeshifter, make him into like a bear or something. Like, give me something new, baby. Like, y'all gotta come harder. Y'all come in with the exact same shit. I could pick up 3 books that are exactly the same as Dawn of Onyx. That's why she on this list. Okay, moving on. Okay, what's next? Now we're gonna move on to the physical books, and we're gonna start off with this one. It pains me to say this book was so bad. Like, and it's good though, because this is a universal opinion. I feel like I saw one islander actually told me that they really enjoyed this book. Every other creator I've seen read this book in their vlogs, every other review I've seen, every other islander that has DM'd me about this damn book, they hated it. So I'm not in the minority with this one. This cover, she might have to stay on my shelves just because the cover is beautiful. It's the same situation with Blood Like Magic. I hated this book. Read it a few years ago, but I cannot get rid of it just because of the cover is so fucking gorgeous. And maybe someone will come along and be like, a friend or something, and be like, oh, what's this book about? And I would feel comfortable recommending it to them. This, baby, I might have to tuck her away. I don't want nobody knowing this book is on my shelf. I just can't get rid of it because the cover is too damn gorgeous. They really put their foot to neck with this book. But And the marketing too, low-key. I want to know who this author is BFFs with, because I ain't never seen people rein in all the horses for no damn black debut book like they did for this one. Like, there was special editions coming out of this book before it even hit the damn shelf. It wasn't even published yet, and it already had like 3 special editions, whatever. I think it's because they got all that hype on TikTok. But she was posting a whole bunch of tweets. Not tweets, child. She was posting a whole bunch of quotes about this book. So I feel like the girls was eating it up, and they were like, oh, this is about to be a new TikTok sensation. So they was comfortable putting their money to this book. And you see how the letters is glitter, like shining, holographic. The letters are like rainbow. Man, they really did a big one with this cover. But it pains me to say that the inside is not as good as the outside, okay? This is basically following this main character, and I can't remember if she's human or if she fake. I don't know. She's something, child. And she a part of the race that is like no one gives a shit about and everybody hates. So she a part of that little crew, and everybody everybody over there they got dirt on their face and rags and whatever. That's what they look like over there, and she's just very homely. So yeah, but she has the ability to, I guess because of her lineage, she has the ability to go into this library in the castle. So the royal people basically show up and be like, hey, we need one of y'all to come and be like the library person. Like, you gonna come and organize this shit. You're gonna go, you know, organize the library, because they cannot go in there because of their lineage. So that whole setup was fine. Honestly, if she stayed in that castle, stayed in that library, and just vibed, it would have been cool. But we had a few plot twists and a few ring around the rosy moments where she was like leaving. She left for no reason. Like, when she left, it was specifically so that they could add in another main character, because she didn't even get to what she was supposed to be doing. So her whole the travel plot in this book was pointless. She didn't even need to leave, only because this author clearly wanted to introduce a love interest. Honestly, they could have threw away the whole second love interest and kept her in the castle, and you know, the whole thing that happened at the end, that would have been more of a shock if she just stayed there and was trusting this person. You know what I'm saying? But and if she had like a little female, a familiar. There was this little fox that kept showing up while she was like organizing the library. It would have been cute if she had a familiar. Like, it should have just been cozy. I feel like this author, she don't know how to write. We got a lot of authors out there that know how to market. They know how to put the quotes up, all this shit for people to be excited about the book, talk about the book, blah, 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 whatever. But they don't know how to write, okay? They wasn't making it out the mud like N.K. Jemisin, like all the other girls that really know how to do their big one, okay? They just know how to market. They know how to put up little quotes or whatever, little scenes that make people hype. But baby, you need to get into the schoolyard, okay? You need to get on Wattpad, start writing you some you know, beginner stories, and just get comfortable with writing, because this author clearly did not know what the hell she wanted to do. She was writing her chapters like Lala from Books and Lala talked about this perfectly. She was writing the chapters like how you would write a paper in like elementary school, where they'll be like, this is the introduction, this is the body, this is the conclusion. She did that for every chapter. Like, you have the start, you have the body, you have the conclusion. But it was just like a repetitive formula, and it just didn't make sense for a book to be like that. If you're writing a paper, sure, but to do that little system for chapters and an entire book is crazy as hell. On top of that, she didn't know what she wanted to do. She didn't know if she wanted a bloody gruesome fantasy book, or if she wanted something cozy and sweet. She would have, the first half of this book was cozy and sweet. She in the library, she got foxes and shit. It's very magical. She got the little love interest, whatever vibes. But then all of a sudden, you got people getting slaughtered, and she cut people's neck. Like, why is there blood on this girl? Wasn't she just saying she icky, I don't want to touch that? Wasn't she just saying that? So why now all of a sudden she jumping on somebody's shoulders and twisting their neck? Pick what you're doing. You either gonna be cozy and sweet, or you gonna be bloody fantasy. You cannot. It's like she didn't even know what the hell she want to do. And then the personality and the demeanor of the main character kept changing. Like, one minute she like, I don't want to touch that. Like I said, icky, I don't want to touch that. And then the next second, she is a ninja. She hanging from the tree branches and she knocking people down. Who is she? Like, which one is it? Like, which one is it? I just, oh my god. Then the love interest, the plot twist, all of it just really just annoyed me. So I just wish and hope that the next book that this, because everyone was dragging this book to filth, baby, like, but the special edition that was coming out of this book were so gorgeous. I was like, damn, I hate to see it. I really hate to see it, but I am hopeful because it's just her debut. Hopefully she's good with constructive criticism and she can, you know, pick up where she left off, you know, dust off the bruises and come back harder and really show us what she about, because this ain't it. Like, she gotta figure something out. She really needs to get a mentor or something and really hit the mud. Get in a booth, because y'all not really writing like that. Like, y'all need to, yeah, figure it out. Figure it out. She does have, I think she has another book coming out. I think everyone is still hopeful for what she can bring us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna see what you serve us next time, sister. We're gonna give you a second chance. If your second book ain't hitting, you're gone. Okay? So, there. I don't have that much to say on this one. So, the next book that I have is A King's Radiance. Surprisingly, I read this book during the video My Boyfriend Choosing My TBR, and baby, I was vibing with this book. I was having a great time. However, my biggest gripe with this book is the way that the female characters are written. Like, you want to piss me off? Go stow away a female main character in a castle and make her the whole plot of the whole book. And it wasn't just one. It was multiple women that were like stowed away in the castle, and they were there solely for the drive of the male main character to be like, I'm gonna get my revenge, I'm gonna get my sister back, blah 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 blah. And she just over in the castle. And then they kept hinting that she has a magical ability, she has the ability to do da 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 da, but we wasn't really showing her. And then when she get out the castle, it's still like she just there to be a moving piece for somebody else's story. And that pissed me off so bad. It reminds me of so much. I love TikTok. They can't get rid of this app. This girl, this white girl child, she is doing these videos of the way that men write female main characters in fantasy books, and praise her because she's doing it perfectly. I'll put up a clip so that y'all can see the video.
I'll wait for you, and I'll try not to age.
My hair is up, so you know I'm a total bitch. No, it's okay that you broke up with me for no reason. I'm just glad I was able to teach you something about yourself.
We're twin assassins. I'm Minora, and I'm Majora. Come on!
My hair is down, so you know I'm fun.
If you don't make out with me, I'll have nothing to live for.
I'm not afraid of a little dirt, but I am afraid of a lot of dirt. I love it when you call me kid, and it's not weird.
My hair is half up, half down, so you know I'm different. I've been stuck on this math problem for 20 years and I can't... You solved it.
I am French, and therefore I want to, how you say, J-U-O? No, you're so talented. Your mom is wrong.
My hair is under a hat, so you know I'm one of the guys. Remember when we were in high school together at the same time, because we're the same age? I'm scared.
I was gay until I met you, Ben Affleck.
My hair is hidden, so you know I'm a victim.
I'm so ugly. You think I'm pretty? Yeah, you're right.
I'll run 10 paces behind you.
I have a boy name, like Alex or Sam, so I'm super chill.
You go be a superhero, and I'll wait here in my negligee.
No, it is your wife's fault. I hate her. I'm an expert in cars, but I know nothing about this car. I have a fancy name like Giselle or Anastasia, so I have a secret. You should look for it. It's probably around here. Help me! I've been a bartender at the same bar for 40 years. I've literally never left the bar. I sleep here.
Is football the one with the lacrosse sticks?
I have an old-timey name like Martha or Anne, so I'm a wife, and that's it. Oh, stop thinking so much, and damn!
You're showing up at my house unannounced in the middle of the night? That's so romantic.
I am worse than the most evil monster you could ever imagine. I'm childless. I don't have a name.
But it perfectly describes the way that these characters, the female main characters, are written. Like, we got one that's powerful, but she too powerful. We got one that ain't nobody seen in 6 million years, and she got stolen away, and she's somebody's little trophy wife over in the corner, and she sacrificed for her family, and people don't even know she over there. Then we got another one that got snatched up, stolen away when she was a kid. It's like every female main character in this book is there for the advancement of the male main character's story. And it started getting a little bit weird because the whole plot of this was like the revenge for the sister. And I'm like, I'm here for the siblings. Like, somebody, you know, do your sibling dirty and you trying to get revenge. I'm here for that. But then it just started getting a little weird because it just was like, what is your obsession with? Like, I know she your sister, but how far are we taking this? Like, it was giving a little bit of the Lannister twins. I was like, why are you so obsessed with this girl? Like, so it kind of just felt like he wanted revenge for his sister, but it was giving like he wanted revenge for his wife type shit. And just the way that he would talk about how she looked and how much he missed her and all this, and I'm like, it's giving romance. Like, what is the obsession with your sister? Like, chill on that. That's a little bit, hey, where we going with this? We going to the Game of Thrones route? Like, if we're gonna go there, take it all the way there. Like, don't teeter, okay? But I don't know what the hell was going on. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, interesting. I will say this is not a bad book. It is still a good book. I will still recommend it to people, but I just hate the way that the women are written in this book. That's literally it. Like, I clearly had a great time reading this book, and I don't see myself getting rid of it. It was some great plot twists. I had a good time, but the females in this book, baby, they couldn't hold a candle to the men. Like, they was just there smiling and waving like the penguins. They were just smiling and waving. They really didn't add value to anything other than, like I said, the advancement of the male plot. And the way they were written, it was like, she's so beautiful. I put up the TikTok, so y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But that girl, she hit the nail on the head, because so many male authors write females like this, and it's yeah. But overall, the book was still good, so she's gonna stay on my shelf. Alright, these are the last two. Next book that I have is Mistress of Lies. Don't you hate when a book you highly anticipate ends up being on your worst list? Don't you hate when that happens? Like, and maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm the problem, because I just saw this cover and I kind of crashed out. I was like, this cover is so dope. Like, I feel like this is going to be so cool. And then you said, like, it's for people that like main characters that are kind of like a Slytherin house. And, you know, back in the day before we abolished and got rid of J.K. Rowling, I'm House Slytherin. So I love main characters that are morally gray, that are all after power. I love characters like that. But is the Slytherin in the room with us? Because, baby, I was reading this book the same time that I was reading Immortal Dark. And this main character thinks that she is Kidan from Immortal Dark. Kidan in Immortal Dark is a Slytherin house, okay? She is willing to do whatever it takes to get what she wants. She might feel a little sad in the corner for a moment, but she is cutthroat. She's morally great, and she's exactly what this author was trying so hard to do. We have a main character who is supposedly so cutthroat, so gruesome, so whatever. But you keep telling me that. You really not showing me what she about. And the fact that this book focuses on blood magic is so dope. So I was just like, show me what you trying to do. She wasn't really trying to do nothing, because the female main character wasn't really about that life. She was just talking like, you know, them girls, like, okay, everyone's been around these type of girls that got a whole bunch of mouth and can't fight. That's exactly what this main character is. She had a whole bunch of mouth and she wasn't really doing shit. And she wasn't really popping her shit like that. It was the author, right? The way she was writing her. She was like explaining to me how cool she is, or explaining to me how badass she is. Show me. Put her in situations and show me what she's going to do. Do not give me a 3-page synopsis, prologue, whatever, about how great she is. I don't give a fuck about that. Show me why she's great. Show me why you think that she's this badass main character, because right now you just all talk no play. What is going on? You're not giving the girls what they want. Like, you really not showing me shit. You just telling me that she's so great, she's so amazing, she's so wonderful. Okay, where is it? Because I was waiting for it to happen. And then we also had this plot, oh, here go one of my bookmarks. We also had this plot of this rag to riches moment, child. Well, main character, he was in poverty or whatever, then they bring him up because of his lineage, whatever, they show him the way. And everyone was so obsessed with this man, and they just kept talking about his hair, and I'm like, y'all are so obsessed with this boy. Like, he had like 4 love interests. Everybody was upset, because you could be infatuated with somebody because they fine, that's cool, but everybody was like losing their minds over this boy, and I'm like, can y'all chill? Like, can y'all relax? Y'all supposed to be showing him the way, and y'all just horny. Like, can everyone calm down? Like, Jesus Christ. It was like everywhere he went, people was losing their damn minds over him, and he just kind of in the corner like, okay, like, yeah. But he did pursue each love interest, because he like, hey, you know, I'm single. Hey, what we doing? Like, what's going on? I'm new here. But it was just giving obsessed, and it was definitely giving fetishizing. Yeah, they was obsessed with this man, his fair skin, his, no, I don't know if he had fair skin, but the blonde hair thing. They love talking about that boy blonde hair. I'm like, we get it. His hair is blonde and shiny. Pantene, we got it, sister. But damn, it was like every other page. I'm like, can y'all relax? Are y'all okay? Are y'all cool? Relax, everyone, calm down. So I don't know, I was disappointed. This book was too damn long, and hopefully this author grows. Any author that's like a debut author that did a terrible job, I'm hoping that they grow and don't go backwards, because honestly this book could have been 200 pages shorter, and she could have did better with establishing who these characters were. Gave them more powerful scenes. The plot was interesting, the magic system was interesting, the world was cool, but you got to give me more. I'm debating if I want to take this off my shelf, because the cover's just, I'll let her sit for a little bit. I might let her sit for a little bit, but because I just can't get rid of this cover for now. I might give her I might give a little chance, see if the next book comes out, if it's better. But overall I was like, it's straight. Let's move on. Oh, let me just go ahead and start over, because I already know I'm about to go off about this book. Okay. This is the final book, and this is the book that I hated more than any book I've ever read in my life. I am so pissed that I did not like this book. I read this in real time, and I had a whole dedicated Tomi Adeyemi vlog on my Patreon if you want to check it out. It's in the description box below. But I had a whole vlog. I read the first book, the second book, and then I read this book, and I went to her author signing. That's where I got this book from. It was a whole vlog dedicated to her, baby. Like, I was not playing no games. I was too excited. The Children of Blood and Bone series was one of the first books that I read on audio, where I was like, oh, like, this audio narrator is like really serving the girls. Like, I was surprised, because I never read it. I think that was like one of my first audiobook experiences, and I was so thrown. I remember I was at work, and I just was like, I can't do anything, I can't move, like, it's just too good. And I really want to give props to the audiobook narrator of the first 2 books, and that's my first gripe. Why did she change the audiobook narrator for the 3rd book? Like, I don't know if maybe something happened where maybe contracts were changed, whatever. I don't know the whole backstory of like the book world. I'm just a reader and a reviewer, okay? But the audiobook narrator for the first 2 books, she was giving the girls hell. Like, she was giving emotion, she was giving passion, she was giving everything, and it was for every character. So to read the 3rd book, and I just, even the way that the characters' names are said, I'm like, I was like, who the hell is this? Who the hell is this? Like, I just knew. And because I read all 3 of the books back to back, I could starkly tell the difference. Let me know if something changed, something happened. I'm not sure. Maybe the audiobook narrator stopped the audiobook narrating. I don't know what happened. But if it ain't really no real reason, she should have never changed the audiobook narrator, because she gave the girls hell. Like, there was no whoever was reading this book, there was not the same emotion from the first 2 books. There was not the same emotion. She was not giving the girls what they needed. And this is the 3rd book in the series. You mean to tell me we waited 5 years for this damn book, and this is what you giving us? This little pamphlet? This is the pamphlet that this is giving novella. You gave us this little shit after waiting 5 years. I was like, she a little small, but okay. Small but mighty. Let's see how it go. And I'm reading. I'm like, huh. I'm like really reading. I'm like, this can't be the same world that I was just read. Because I had just read the other 2 books. So I'm like, this actually, this is a joke. This cannot be the same world. And you know what? I've never been to a magic show before, but if you want to see a magic trick, pick up this series and watch how the author makes the plot of this entire series disappear. It just vanished. It was gone. Everything that this book led up to, everything that this character was fighting for, even her magical abilities changed. There were so many plot holes, so many new characters introduced, an entire new bad guy was introduced. I really was like rubbing my head in confusion, because I'm like, did I pick up the wrong book? Because what the fuck are we even talking about? Listen, I'm sliding. What the fuck are we even talking about? Because the entire plot of this book was thrown into the garbage. The relationships between these characters thrown into the garbage. Like the demeanor and the way that these characters carried themselves thrown into the garbage. All of the love interests that were introduced completely altered and changed. It was like, the best part of this series for me were the 2 female main characters. They had this passion and power and drive and was not taking nobody's shit, but they were so different. Like, I can't, Zuri, is it Zuri? And what's the other? Zeely. And the other child name. I don't remember the child name. Whatever. Zuri. Is it Zeely? Zeely? Zuri? Whoever? Zeely. Okay. So Zeely is the main character. She was giving the girls hell. She had a magical ability that I wasn't really seeing in the fantasy books like that. She had the ability to basically raise the dead. Like, she had a very dark power and something that no one else had. The girls wasn't given that in fantasy. When that book came out, the girls was not given that. Everybody had like fairy magic and lights and shit. She came out with the ability to control the dead. Like not necromancy, but she drew her powers from the people that passed on. And it was something so powerful about that. Because she just kept getting beat down in the first 2 books, but she just kept pushing through. And so for her to completely lose that magical ability and get some new shit was really pissing me off. And then her brother, I should have just did a whole rant video about this, because this is gonna be long. Her brother ended up, I feel like people was asking for more scenes with him, but it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, if you really didn't have him as a main character to begin with, why all of a sudden in the last book you want to give him more scenes? Don't nobody give a fuck about, like, he was cool as a big brother in the background, but in the last book, now all of a sudden you want to give him a whole plot. It's like, girl, don't nobody give a damn about that. And then his plot was like Thor. And then, like, all of their magical abilities tied to their African lineage and from their ancestors. Then all of a sudden they get magical abilities from a whole other race and a whole other, like, lineage. Y'all, this don't have shit to do with y'all. How are y'all getting powers from these people? And then the bad guy, or the guy they were after, he wasn't in any of the books. It wasn't even like, oh, the first 2 books had Easter eggs, he was always in the background, everyone just was overlooking him. No, he was introduced in the last book. And then I'm like, okay, you telling me he's this terrible person. Give me terrible. Because the king in the first 2 books, he was the shittiest person on the planet, and I hated him. And she gave you plenty of material for you to also hate him. How you introduce a whole new villain in the last book, and you don't give him no page. You don't give him no page time. Like, he was really not on page like that. So I'm just like, how am I supposed to believe that he's this terrible ass person and you really not giving any scenes where I can see that? Like, overall, this book really, I'm just gonna make it short because this video already long as hell, but overall, I was really just disappointed in this book. This is probably the, like I said, and I'm standing on that, I'm sure there's worse books out there, so I'm sure y'all gonna be in the comment section below. Capri, this isn't the worst book you ever read. I don't give a fuck, because I read the first 2 books back to back, and then to go into this bullshit, it was horrible. Because if anybody else just picked up this book after waiting 5 years, maybe they didn't really see all the fucking issues with it. But because I read all 3 of the books back to back and then read this book, I could see every issue. There were characters that completely disappeared. We don't even know what the fuck happened to some of these characters. They just gone. Like, it wasn't even like they died. They just weren't even in the book. And there were big chunks of the book. So it's like, no. I'm sure there's other books out there that are more poorly written, but if you talking about somebody dropping the ball, that's this book. That is this book, and it pisses me off because the cover is gorgeous. The author is really sweet. She works hard. It took her a lot for her to even get traditionally published with the first book when she even came out, because when that book came out, that cover stopped me in my tracks when I saw it in the bookstore. Because none of the girls, this was during Sarah J. Maas. Her book came out in that whole era where all the girls on the covers was white as hell. And even if they was white, they was even paler than white. So it's like, for her to come out with a book like that with a dark-skinned main character on the cover, and like, you know, now we have more books that are diverse. We have fat main characters on the cover, people in wheelchairs, we have black people, we have everybody on the covers. But when Children of Blood and Bone came out years ago, wasn't no shit like that out on the shelves. So for you to wrap up this book like this, it makes me livid, because this was one of the first cosplays I did when I joined the book community. Like, this book is very important to me. So it's like, I don't give a fuck if everyone's saying, oh, be considerate, be caring of the authors, whatever. I don't give a fuck. If you're an author, you know that there's some people that'll like your book, some people will hate it. And if you genuinely wear your heart on your sleeve, don't look for reviewers that are going to eat your ass up, because I'm going to eat your ass up and I'm not going to bite my tongue, because I spent my money on this book and I'm someone who genuinely loved and supported this series. So if I don't like something about it, then you're going to hear my mouth. If you want somebody to hold your hand and cradle you off into the moonlight, then you can find that reviewer, but it ain't me. So it is what it be. And at the end of the day, the way that she dropped this book, I would have rather waited another 5 years. I would have waited another 5 damn years for her to come out with some heat. Because for her to completely take this plot, throw it away, bring all new magic systems in, their African lineage was barely mentioned. We had a whole different lineage from people that don't have shit to do with their ancestors. They getting all their magical abilities from people that don't have shit to do with shit. Like, don't piss me off. Like, don't piss me off. If y'all are cool with it and saying, oh, you know what, we waited 5 years, the book was straight. No, I read all of the books back to back, and then I read this one. It was not straight. It was not mid. If I could give this book 0 stars, I would give it 0 stars. Will I ever take these books off my shelf? Absolutely not. Because I am very grateful that I got to enjoy the first 2 books, and I will still have a special place in my heart for the Children of Blood and Bone series. And I'm you know, giving praise to Tomi Adeyemi for busting her ass and doing her thing. Being an author is not easy, but at the end of the day, that was the worst book I ever damn read. Hell no. Like, hell no. Even the second book, where people was popping their shit and saying, what the hell's going on in this book, I still understood it. To me, it made sense. The things that the characters were doing made sense. It might have a couple of plot holes, but I'm like, these characters still feel true to who they are. And the things that they're doing is because they're trying to prove themselves and they're trying to go against the grain. But that shit, hell no. Hell to the nah. But at the end of the day, I'm wishing Tomi Adeyemi all the success, all the money, all the interviews, all the whatever, all the spotlight. And I wish her the best in her movie. I will be going to see it and support her. But hell no, that book was ass. That book truly was terrible. But I will say, I wish her the best and all her success, and her movies coming out. I'm sure that'll be great, and I will be supporting her in the future. But that's what the Golden Islanders was giggling and kicking their feet when this vlog came out, because they just thought it was so funny. Like, I couldn't believe how much I hated this book. I couldn't believe it, but it's okay. It's done. Just like the cover, like I just hate that every time I look at this cover I just get angry, but it's okay. We move on. It is what it be. So that's all the books that I have of my worst books of 2024. I read a total of 65 books. Like I said, I did not have a good reading year, and it was my own fault. It was from my own detriment, because I came up with a goal of stupidity, and I will never do that again. Okay, now I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know what your worst book that you read last year was. Let me know what some of your goals are for the upcoming year. I have like 3 videos already edited and posted on Patreon, so they're all early access over there, but they will be coming y'all way within the next like few weeks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it to the end, please leave this emoji right here so I know that you made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Always remember, read a book, keep your life interesting, and I will see you next time. And a special thank you to all my patrons. I'm really excited for 2025. We have a readathon going on, a New Year's readathon, and I be coming up with the prompts off the dome, and I'm really proud of all of my prompts. And we also have like a little crossword puzzle moment, so I'm excited. I'm really excited. I will see y'all in the group chat. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Can I see?
See you now, baby. Yeah, yeah. I know what I want. Play with you, I know I love it. So bring your ass to the front. Shake it like that, baby. Throw it.